right, good morning, guys. We're going to start our history lesson today by looking at a map of the Mediterranean area and talking about ancient Rome and another city called Carthage. Okay, so I'm going to hold up the map to the screen. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, but just try to follow along with me. Okay, so you can see right here, this is Italy, okay, and Rome is over here in this area. Today we're going to talk about Rome and Carthage. And Carthage is right over here at kind of the very northern point of Africa. So if you're looking at these two cities, you can see that the most direct route from Rome to Carthage is through the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so when we're reading chapter 4 today, we're going to talk about these two cities and actually a war that they fought. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and put this down. Okay, we're going to turn to chapter 4 in our Ancient Rome reader. Okay, and I'm going to just read it and I will hold up some pictures as we go. Okay, so chapter 4 is called the Punic Wars. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of an introduction. Okay. The Roman army in its early days, Rome was a small city with a small army. This army was made up of Roman citizens and included both patricians and plebeians. And we've learned a lot about those. Remember, the patricians are the wealthy and the plebeians are just the common, ordinary people. It was a great honor to be in the Roman army and defend the city of Rome. The Romans fought some of their neighbors, okay? So that's when we're going to jump in and talk about Carthage. When the Romans conquered, which means to defeat, an enemy, they took control of the land and people living there. In time, the Roman army became large and powerful. By the year 265 BCE, which means before the Common Era, the army had conquered most of the Italian peninsula. A peninsula is a piece of land sticking out into a body of water. So that's almost surrounded by water, but not quite. So it's not quite an island, but it's pretty close. In 264 BCE, the Romans went to war against Carthage. Carthage was a powerful nation located across the Mediterranean Sea on the coast of North Africa. Today, the city of Tunis stands where Carthage once stood. Okay, so I'm going to show you an illustration of the city of Carthage. Okay, that's what it looked like at this time. All right, let's continue reading. All right, so first of all, we're going to read a little bit about the Punic Wars. Okay, so the Punic Wars were the wars against the people of Carthage and the people of Rome. These wars against the Carthaginians, okay, kind of a hard word to say, so I might stumble over that every now and then, are called the Punic Wars. The name comes from Latin, the language spoken by the Romans. The Latin word Punicus means Carthaginian. So a Punic War is a war between Rome and Carthage. Since Rome and Carthage went to war 3 times, these wars are called the First, Second, and Third Punic Wars. They were fought between 264 and 146 BCE. Okay, so the reason why these wars are called the Punic Wars is because Punicus means Carthaginian in Latin. That's why they are called those. That's why they're called that. Let's read a little bit about the First Punic War. Okay, so this is Punic War number 1. The First Punic War was different from any war the Romans had fought before. Carthage was a rich nation with a large navy. When the First Punic War began, Carthage had 500 fighting ships, and Rome had no navy at all. The Romans were determined to win. Even though they had no navy and they had never fought this way before, they were still determined to win. They built warships and learned to fight at sea. They learned to fight in formation, which means an orderly arrangement. They trained tens of thousands of soldiers to man their warships, And they fought the Carthaginians for 23 long years. Can you imagine that? They fought for 23 years. When the First Punic War ended in 241 BCE, the Romans had won. Okay, so even though the Romans did not know how to fight the way that the Carthaginians did, they trained, they built a navy, they built ships, and they became, really good at fighting that way, and they won the First Punic War. Now we're going to read a little bit about a person called Hannibal. Okay, Hannibal, at the end of the First Punic War, was a young Carthaginian boy. He was waiting for his father to return from battle. His father was an important leader in the Carthaginian army, and Hannibal wanted to be a soldier like his father. More than anything, he wanted to fight against the Romans. When Hannibal's father returned, he became commander of Carthage's army. He then conquered the rich lands along the northwest coast of the Mediterranean. Today, this area is called Spain. When he was 9 years old, Hannibal went to Spain with his father and the army. Hannibal grew to be an excellent soldier like his father. When he was 26 years old, Hannibal took command of the Carthaginian army. Hannibal was a great general. He was brave and clever in battle. He treated his men fairly and earned their respect and loyalty. Okay, so Hannibal was influenced by these wars from the start because his father, when Hannibal was little, he fought in the First Punic War. So he kind of grew up wanting to fight the Romans, and eventually he did, and he became a great general at a young age, and he was very brave and clever and was treated with respect and loyalty. We are going to read more about the Punic Wars as we go on, but before we end this session, I kind of just want you to think about a few questions. Okay, so first of all, think about the Roman army. How did the Roman army change over time? Okay, that's one thing that you need to think about. They started off as kind of small. They didn't have a navy. They were not used to fighting on water, but when they started to fight the Carthaginians, they developed a navy, they became larger, and they became, just better. Why do you think that the Roman army conquered the Italian peninsula first? Remember, peninsula is just a piece of land that sticks out into the water. It's surrounded by water on three sides, but it's not fully surrounded by water. So why do you think they might have conquered the Italian peninsula first? Think about that. Okay, weren't they part of Italy? Okay, probably a good idea for them to conquer that part of land first because they're located on Italy. So that's, the main reason why they conquered the Italian peninsula first. Another thing, where did the name the Punic Wars come from? Remember when we were reading, we read that Punicus means Carthage, so Punic Wars means, the war with the Carthaginians. That's where the word Punic comes from. How many Punic Wars were there? We haven't read about all of them, but in one of these sections we did read that there was a first, a second, and a third Punic War. So there were 3 Punic Wars, 3 in all. What happened in the First Punic War? In the First Punic War, what happened simply was that the Romans, they had never fought that way before. They were not used to having a navy or fighting on water, and so they developed a navy and then became better, and eventually after 23 years they were able to defeat the Carthaginians. Why were the Romans at a disadvantage when the First Punic War began? Okay, simply they were at a disadvantage because Carthage was big, had a big navy, and Rome was opposite. They were small, they had a small army, and they didn't have a navy at the beginning. And how did the First Punic War make Rome stronger? First of all, we kind of just talked about it. The First Punic War made Rome stronger because they were able to train, develop a navy, make their army better. And so those are ways that the Punic War made Rome a stronger city. Next time when we read, we're going to read a little bit more about the Punic Wars, but we're going to end there for today. So I will see you guys next time.